Was that where we were? What's up, everybody?
We're back.
We're back.
We're back. Please join us again.
We're going to see if we can get this broadcast to be the way it's supposed to be. We are aware that there was some broadcasting issues, and so we're going to try and bring Bev back on. I see a lot of you guys jumping back on. Hey, hey, hey. What's up, everybody? There she might be. Let's see if this is Bev. Yes. See what happens this time. If we get the transmission we want. So we're going to keep trying to do the best we can here to see how this goes when she comes on. It's adding her now. And I know a lot of you guys were like, hey, can't hear, can't see. We know. And so there we go.
That's better.
There we go. All right, give this lady the introduction.
We are going to pretend that the other didn't already happen. We're just going to start fresh. You guys, Bev, I met in New Orleans. Well, no, I've known Bev, but nonetheless, she hosted me with Tom in New Orleans, and I was blown away by a conversation that we had. I invited her to come on and share with you the information she shared with me that day, because being in this business for 9 years, what she said to me built my belief even more. And I'm like, Bev, you need to share that with the team. They need to hear what you shared with me. So she agreed to come on. You guys, she has an incredible list of credentials, like crazy, crazy, crazy stuff. And I'm not going to read off everything that she's accomplished, but a couple of the things that I do want to highlight is the fact that she had her hand involved in 22 peer-reviewed studies under her previous name. That was a big deal to me, especially given the conversation that we had, because of her involvement in those peer-reviewed studies that are on PubMed. She understands the formalities involved in producing the studies. And so she's going to share a little bit in her story how that impacted her when she was introduced to LifeVantage. But also, she had an endocrinology practice in South Carolina, in Mississippi, focusing on diabetes, thyroid, and weight control. She also is board certified in anti-aging and regenerative medicine. She added bioidentical hormone replacement therapy and natural therapies over drugs during more recent years in 2007 to 2015, and joined LifeVantage in 2013. That's just a little bit of what she's done. But those were the things that I feel like are most relevant to what we're talking about today. So Bev, thank you so much for getting on the call today and dealing with the little bit of issues that we've had. But if you would, please share with everybody, kind of how you were introduced to LifeVantage and how your history played a role in your decision, really.
Well, thank you. I can't thank you enough for inviting me and having me. And I can't tell you how much I admire you and Brandon and your outstanding leadership. And I want you to be my role model. So because of my research, I really understand PubMed, and I understand when people say, how do you know who to believe? Because that's a question I hear a lot. In fact, my first LifeVantage meeting, the girl right in the front row, she kept saying that, like, okay, sure, I see that video, but how do I know I can believe that? And as a doctor and a researcher, we have ways through science of proving things, and that's how we can believe it. And so I love science. I'm real sciencey. But I want to say that if I say something sciencey, nobody has to know that or understand it or teach it or present it. It's just so that I can help build everyone else's belief as well. Because when you have scientific proof, that's pretty much the best thing going for what to believe. And what I was saying to Lynette is, one thing that surprises me a lot is we hear the statement, and it's right here in the first study, that before supplementation, T-bars or oxidative stress or cellular damage declined by an average of 40% after 30 days. And then it says P equals 0.0001, and nobody ever knows what that means, but I do. And the rest of that sentence is, and the age-dependent increase in T-bars or cellular damage was eliminated, not improved, not decreased by 40%. It was eliminated in all the members of that study. So that's really, really, really powerful science. And that's what I saw when I saw that. My mouth kind of dropped open and I said, wow, this is powerful proof. This is powerful proof that this stuff works, and it's decreasing the very thing that causes aging and disease and malfunction. I said, I'm taking it forever. Tom, you're taking it. I'm going to show it to all my patients. So I was convinced, because of the science behind this product, that it is what it says it is, and it is something that nothing else is. No other product can say that. No other product has our science. It's amazing. And it's all good. So
now, Bev, you mentioned that number and you said you know what that number means. What does that mean?
Good. That's called a p-value.
Okay.
And it stands for probability. What's the probability that the results of this study, of any study, could have happened by chance? Or was it because they took one protandim a day? So there are people who study probability and statistics, and it's a college course, and they can go in after a research study and analyze the numbers and give a p-value. So scientifically, the lower the p-value number, the stronger the proof. And a p-value of 0.05 means there's a 5 in 100, it's 5 in 100 chance that the results could have happened by chance and not because of what the scientific experiment was intended to prove. And that's 1 in 20. And that's actually considered good enough for doctors to act on, or for a drug company to prescribe a drug based on that evidence. But our p-value for the first study was 0.0001. That's 1/10,000th. That's a really small number. That's powerful scientific proof. It means that the odds that our results could have happened by chance, where everybody came down in their cellular damage to the level of a 20-year-old, could have happened by chance, is 1 in 10,000. That means you don't have to repeat that study. You can repeat it 10,000 times, you're going to get the same results 9,999 times. It's just powerful scientific evidence, and it's all I needed to see to be convinced that the protandim was powerful and doesn't need more studies. So that's one thing that we can tell people. Although, like I was going to say, if the people aren't sciencey, they kind of tune you out, which is fine. But they don't have to know or understand or repeat any of this or present it. It's just to build their belief, the belief of the distributors and the belief of the patients or the customers. So
Bev, what was that number again? 1 in 10. There's like a 1 in 10,000 chance. Like if you did this thing 10,000 times, we would get the result 9,999 times again.
Right. We don't need to study this protandim NRF2 anymore. The science is powerful. And then the next question is, well, how do I know I can trust that they did that right, that the science was performed correctly? And the answer is PubMed.gov. So for PubMed.gov, after a researcher does a paper, they write it up and they submit it for publication. And a lot of places will just publish it. And you don't really know if it's true or not. But PubMed will take the author's name off of it and send it to 3 equivalent experts to review. And if they can't find any flaws in it, then it'll get published. They can ask for more studies, or they can refuse to approve it for publication. So ours did get approved and published, but that's pretty much the best way we have to really have confidence and prove that something is real. If it's been published by PubMed, so after the 3 reviewers say, I can't find any flaws with this, this is good science, these conclusions are accurate, then it's resubmitted for publication, and only 5 to 10% of papers submitted to PubMed are published on PubMed. So that's really powerful too, and that builds my belief. And again, like I just want all the distributors to know we have this so that they can believe in it. But they don't have to teach it.
Right.
They don't have to present that. Just know that we have it. The strongest scientific proof there is, really. Any questions or anything from that?
Well, I think, you know, what you've already shared is when Lynette came back, what you've already shared is so powerful, because we've been a part of LifeVantage since almost its inception. And somehow that statistic that you just explained, when Lynette came home and she said that to me, somehow I missed that statistic. And I've been around this thing for 9 years. I've been in a little bitty hotel room with the formulators of the product on multiple occasions. I've been able to be a part of the complicated conversations of this science, and I had never heard that before. And when Lynette told me that, I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. We've got to get this information out to the organization, because that's huge. That means there is no chance. There is no chance. It's not like 50-50. No. It's like 1 in 10,000. It's unbelievable.
And the company really should say that this whole sentence, they should say that the T-bars decreased by an average of 40%, and the age-dependent increase was eliminated. That's like a double whammy there. Yeah. That it's not like, well, if you were 60, it might have only improved 40%. They all came down. Every single person ever studied came down to the level of a 20-year-old, and actually younger, actually a newborn.
Right, right. And did you say some drug companies are allowed to move forward with a 1 in 5 chance probability?
1 in 20.
1 in 20.
0.05 is 1 in 20, and that's my understanding, that that's considered scientific proof enough to go ahead and act on.
Wow, wow. And so
we've got 1 in 10,000 possibility that there could. It's impossible that we're wrong.
Some information with you guys today. I don't know if you're buffering or we're buffering, but there's a little bit of buffering going on there. But thank you so much for being on here today with us. What a pleasure to have you be a part of the organization and part of the team and the leadership. You guys do an amazing job there on the Gulf Coast, and we couldn't do things without you. And now you're probably going to be like inundated with questions. So you guys be nice to Dr. Bev.
I love it.
To Dr. Bev. Don't blast her phone. But that was amazing stuff. So thank you for being on.
Thank you, Bev.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So guys, we hope you enjoyed that information on there. We want to do things like this on a regular basis where we can share information that we hope can build your business, share information that, as Bev said, you don't need to regurgitate the science, but just know what you have. And so let me see if we can, normal screens here. No, we don't want to do that. That would actually end the call. Let's see if that does it. There we go.
Sure, I need to-
Yeah, hang on one second.
trying to
We
get-
are going to see if we can.
off the screen.
I know the screen's probably shaking a little bit on you guys.
Yeah,
Tom, if you guys could end the broadcast on your end, then we'll go back full screen on this end, I'm sure of it. So maybe just in your side of the broadcast there, Tom. Anyway, we'll see what happens. We may end this. There we go. All right. Facebook is complying somewhat with us today. So we had hoped to have Bev on a couple of weeks ago. So aren't you guys glad we stuck with this as a group? Kudos to you guys. We got it in there, and that's valuable information. You guys, core value, we're back to core value number 1, and that is we live our lives with purpose and intention. And certainly, guys, there's a reason why that's core value number 1. And we take these core values very seriously. In fact, it's a part of every decision we make. Hopefully, it will be a part of every decision you make moving forward. Make it be a part of the enrollment process. Like, guys, these are the things that we work around. This is what makes us part of our team. It's part of Lynette and I's decision making and events that we're going to do, how the events are going to do, what's going on with different leaders and people that come in our organization. And it's one of the things that specifically core value number 1 that we felt should be number 1. And that is that we live our life with some purpose and intention. And so for you and for me, our purpose is different. Your purpose is different than our purpose in life. What gets us up and drives us every day ultimately is going to be different for each one of us. And we have certain things that we need to be intentional about to get to that purpose. Life Vantage is the vehicle. Life Vantage is the vehicle to help us get to that end road. And there's some things that we want to cover with you today that we hope you can be very intentional about and helping you build your business. And one of those is getting people to Pacesetter, getting them to Pro 3, because that's now a big program in the Pro 5 hustle. So why don't you chat about that a little bit?
Okay, so you're going to come back to the Facebook
Yeah.
stuff? Okay. So, yeah, basically, you guys, people have on their mind that trip to Ireland because it's quite significant a trip. But it really, you've got to break it down. A lot of times people focus on the end result without recognizing the method that it takes to get to that end result. If you want to be in Ireland as the end result of this, incentive that the company has going on, then take advantage of the little incentives that they've got going along the way with the Pacesetter to Pro 3, which now is an amazing standing promotion to put more money in our new people's pockets. But the Pro 5 hustle, that ends January 31st. So that means if you're going to take advantage of the money that they have on the line, and they're putting out some serious cash for that, if you're going to take advantage of it, you need to, because it ends January 31st. But here's the thing. If you're looking for Ireland, then go, okay, my goal is to enroll people personally and get them to Pro 3 ASAP. If you're the Pro 3, your goal is to get to Pro 5. You're going to do that by getting other Pro 3s. So it's the baby steps, right? It's one step at a time, but that's where you want to focus your attention. Get people to the Pro 3 and the Pro 5 ranks, and you'll be there. It's a process that you're going to take in getting there.
Yeah, this Ireland trip is something that we've been told is going to be on a level of epicness, if that's a word.
Bucket list.
Well, epicness, like it's going to be epic, right? And it should be on your bucket list. So we are doing everything we can to be there. It's not a shoo-in. People have to qualify to be there at all levels. And one way to guarantee it, as Lynette just said, if you want to simplify this thing, enroll customers and distributors on a level that you've never done it before and help them get to Pro 2, Pro 3. In doing so, you're going to help some existing Pro 3s or Pro 2s get to Pro 5. If those guys are hustling to Pro 5, that is what's going to allow you to be able to take you and someone else on this trip. and build what is the essence of a network marketing organization, and that is those foundational ranks. And it's the simple behaviors that build those ranks. We're being very intentional in our organization right now about providing you all the training and tools, whether it's the workshops to the 1, 2, 3, the do it, invite tool team process that we keep explaining. And hopefully you guys are being intentional about your activities. We know Tori had a great video about her follow-up and her system of tracking follow-ups. We hope you're being very intentional about your activities, tracking that, following up because life is busy, and be intentional about these things. Be intentional about your business if it's your desire to grow this business. That's not everybody. We know a lot of you out there that are going to watch this. They're like, hey, I'm new. I just want to share this with a few people. And that is, that is at its core what we do. Hopefully you can go out and share today the message that Bev just told you to 10 people. Like what she should have told you, what she just told you should inspire all of us to go talk to 10 people today and go, you just like send out a text message to 10 people after this is over and go, you are not in a million years going to believe what I just heard on a Facebook Live.
Well, it's even a great follow-up. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely.
Like to a good friend, like, listen, you know that I've talked to you before about this, but I just found something else out. You got to hear what I've just learned. It's insane. It's a great way to follow up.
Send those invites out. Be intentional about your business. That will help you get to Pacesetter, get your people to Pacesetter, then Pacesetter Pro, and ultimately out to Ireland. So I'll go ahead and cover the Facebook thing, and that way we'll be off the core value deal for today. We are going to be applying core value number 1 to some refinements in our Facebook groups, being very intentional and purposeful with our Facebook groups, specifically our team page, the one we are all on right now. We are in the process of really cleaning it up from a information standpoint. And one of the things that we do very well is we welcome distributors into our organization. That's a really fun thing to do. And we want to continue to do that. We want people to feel the energy and the fun. But what we don't want is we don't want to load up that feed with welcomes and lose the interest of the people that get there, whether they're looking for a certain post or maybe they've already commented on that new distributor and they're thumbing through and can't find what they're looking for and then get discouraged and leave the page. What we want to do is we want to create a page where people want to hang out. We want to see what's going on. We want to participate, but be useful and not wasteful of our time. So in doing so, you're going to notice soon that, like for the welcome post, there will be one post. Instead of every distributor creating a new post and welcoming their person in, there'll be a welcome post that we all put our new people in that one post. So you'll know that when you see that post, you can go in there, you can communicate, you can welcome them, but you'll also know that you're not going to have to go through 10 to 15 welcome posts to find the one post that you've been looking for. And so we want to welcome all those people in. It's a key part of this business.
And don't slack off on those welcomes, guys, because although it is going to be in one spot, we still want that to a brand new distributor. They don't know us. They don't know our culture. We have to teach them. And that teaching process begins with those welcomes and those little personal notes that we make to them. So continue to do that.
Yeah, it's a big deal, and we're going to continue to be purposeful and intentional inside of our Facebook groups with Life Biohacked as well. We had an amazing call with our elite distributors last Friday that we talked for an hour and a half. Last Friday afternoon, it was a really great call, and there's some really cool things coming you guys' way. The elites are really in alignment in a way right now that we're the paddles are in the water, like solution seeking all the way, paddles in the water. Things are moving really well, and that leads to the next thing that we want to talk about, and that is what has been known as LifeVantage Academy for so long, and what our plans are for 2019 moving forward. And so many of our elites, Lynette and I, at the heartbeat of forming Life Vantage Academy, putting that together with the other Master Pro 10s. But yet, there's still been some confusion on things, and we want to eliminate confusion. We want to simplify things for people. And the way we're going to do that is beginning probably by next week, we are going to post the entire 2019 schedule of training events, all of them. So there'll no longer be a question of, well, what event's here and when are we doing this event and what's this and what's that, okay? So we're gonna post that, and there'll be events every month outlined from a training aspect of what you should be using and plugging people into, from our virtual workshops to our monthly trainings, to elite academies, and so on. But one thing you're gonna notice that is changing starting in 2019 for the sole purpose of eliminating confusion is we are gonna go back to our lead school title or theme for our live trainings. So you'll no longer see us advertising Life Vantage Academy trainings, the live version, so that you'll know that if you're talking about a live training where you got an elite distributor in town, that will be called Lead School, right? And that schedule will be posted, and you'll know what a lead school is, because there are some live trainings going on under the Life Vantage Academy format that don't have the panels that we're using and the recognition piece that we're using. And it's just a completely different format. And what we want more than anything is our team to understand specifically what they are going to get and what they are inviting people to, with no confusion whatsoever. And so we are moving with that. In January 2019 will be where we make that transition to the title of our schools, our live schools, being Lead School. Learn, earn, advance, and develop. And it will still be that 4-hour training, but we will have the panels, the recognition pieces. And oh, by the way, this thing I brought back, right? My Freedom 5 shirt. That, my friends, is coming back as well. It's a phenomenal program that we know was well received. It was a little complicated because of the Life Vantage Academies, but this switch back is allowing us to bring back into what we did that we knew had success and was part of a successful program. For some of you that don't know what the Freedom 5 is, ask some of the people that have been a part of this for a while, and you'll simply understand it when you look at our map to 5. We've outlined that at teamtrueblue.org. If you look in the tools section as a map to 5, it's based on 5 people that you've personally enrolled in building 5 legs. Now, I know this is now a conversation where we're jumping a little bit to a group of people that are interested in making a couple $1,000s a month. I know some of you have no interest in making a couple $1,000s a month, but some people out there are like, hey, I'm ready. I've been making $500 or $600 a month. I'm ready to make a few thousand. Show me how to do that. It starts with the Freedom 5. It starts with the map to 5 and building an organization that's at least 5 levels wide. And that is coming back. The pins and recognition pieces are coming back. So we want to recognize the people that have raised their hand and say, yep, that's me. I want to be on the road to Freedom 5. I've got 5 legs open. They have 200 PV. Give me my pin. And we're going to have those pins ready for you guys again. So we're super pumped about that. You got something to say about Freedom 5?
No, I just thought you were saying, give me my money.
That just happened last week.
Because I'm just saying, if you're a part of the Freedom 5, that is what's happening. I'm just saying, you're making some money.
Yes. Wasn't that nice on the 15th? Getting that residual check, guys. Tell those stories as much as you can in a tasteful, not braggadocious way, but somehow be clever and get the message out to your friends that some money is showing up. Guys, here's a quick story. We've got a guy that we personally enrolled 6 years ago that got in and did some work. Not a lot of work, but did some work. And was fortunate enough to have some things happen in the organization where he's got a really nice organization underneath him. And he decided a couple weeks ago, he called me, he's like, hey, I'm ready to do this thing. And I'm not going to use any names. So we met and we started talking about things. He was like, well, what should my story be? And I'm like, how how much money have you made every month? And he's like, $400 or $500 a month. And I'm like, you've made $400 or $500 a month. My dog's about to start barking for some reason. For the last 6 years, like he has made, guys, $40,000 and hasn't worked a minute of LifeVantage in 6 years or 5 years, not a minute. And he'll tell you the story if you ask him, right? Not a minute of work because he did some work way back. I'm like, dude, that's your story. You know how powerful that is? You need to go out and tell some people, hey, I got involved in this thing. I may have told you about it, but maybe I didn't. I can't remember. But I got involved. I did, I told some people about a really exciting project, and I kind of got sidetracked. Life kind of took me away. I got sidetracked. But what you need to know is I haven't done anything with it for 6 years, and it's paid me $40,000. And now I realize the significance of that, and I'm plugging back in, and I'm gonna make a whole lot more than $40,000. And I just thought you might want to know before I dig into this thing this time, and maybe you can do this with me. Like, that's the story. So we can't always lead with money stories. This isn't all about, not everybody is here because they wanna make thousands. But I'm telling you, if you're making enough money to pay for your groceries, that's powerful. If you're making enough money to make a car payment, that's powerful, because taking that little bit of financial burden out is huge for people. And I know some of you guys are here and you're like, hey, 2,000's nice, but I need to get out of my job. And I can just tell you guys that it's here. It's here. No matter if you want to make a couple hundred, a couple thousand, or a couple thousand a day, it's here. And it's through helping people get what they want, following a system where we're being intentional and purposeful. And I want to leave you with this. Maybe Lynette's got something else to add. I want you guys to be really intentional and purposeful still about your personal development. There's 2 key books that I want you guys to always recommend to your new people. It's Your First Year in Network Marketing by Mark Yarnell. If you've never heard of that book, go get it and read it this week. I suggest you give it to all your new personal distributors, your personal enrollments, as a gift. You should also be giving them, in my opinion, Eric Worre's book, Go Pro. It gives you a really good scope of the basic skills necessary if they want to do this as a business. Now, Go Pro in its title should tell you it's not for someone who just wants to share a few things. If someone just wants to make a few $100, they don't need Go Pro. But in its essence, the book Go Pro tells you how to go from being an amateur to a pro. So if your desire is to make a couple $1,000 a month, like if you're a Pro 2, Pro 1, Pro 3, and you haven't read GoPro, get GoPro, right? And the one I will tell you that's really, really intriguing is this one. I would highly recommend it, The Game of Network Marketing. And I just want to share something with you guys. It's such a great point. In the first chapter, Rob makes a point about the importance of being likable. And it's so true. The people that are likable, the most likable people, succeed not only in network marketing, in everything. They get better service. Their doctors treat them better. People let them in line when they don't let mean people in line. Being likable is puts you in an enormous advantage. And he says that it's not a coincidence that likable people seem to always have things go their way and unlikable people seem to get left behind, right? And then he says, do you feel like you're always being overlooked? And it goes on to say, well, it might mean you need to be working on being more likable if you feel like you've been overlooked. And so I want you guys to be purposeful about your personal development, say that fast, in your business this week, this month. Don't forget, guys, the importance of personal development in this business. If you want to get to that next level, if you want to go pro, it's fundamental. You guys know we highly regard some of the mentors we've had in this business, like Eric and Marina Worre, John Maxwell, and a lot of other people that have come our way. So we hope you guys have a great week. We hope that Bev's just bomb of science on you guys will inspire you. I hope you go text 10 people and say, you will not believe in a million years what I just heard today. We've got to chat. Do you have 5 minutes for me? Go send that to 10 people and then plug them into ITT. Once you give them 30 seconds of what Bev said. Say, if I send you a link to a video, would you take a look at it and plug them into ITT? That would be the tool. And then make sure you get them to the team, where the team can explain the science. Not Bev, not you, but the team. Of course, maybe Bev's in your team, and in that case, you're very fortunate.
You're hooked up.
You're hooked up. So, guys, thank you all for being on. We love all of you, and we're looking forward to crushing this week. We know it's a holiday week, but we also know you guys want to accomplish some things, and the best way to get ahead of someone is to work when they're resting. A lot of people are going to rest this week. We are not going to rest. So, bye-bye.
See you guys.